And the topic is, the saint is a sinner who never gave up, right? So when we do something good, usually we are quite excited about it, and we like to tell anybody who's happy to listen or who's interested to listen to us. But what if we do something which is not that great? Then we tend to hide it sometimes from others. We don't go around voluntarily, at least, talking about it. And especially, we hide it from ourselves also by self justification. So he had done this to me, so I had every right to do that back. And all of these justifications that we do, you know. So the masters say that when we don't do the right action, then our consciousness becomes a little, it comes down a little bit, goes into darkness, and then we hide things with the guilt and all of that, then it becomes even worse. So Swami Kriyananda said that whatever level of consciousness we are in, we attract from the world the circumstances and experiences natural to that state of consciousness. So if you are in a lower state of consciousness, right, that is what we will attract. And we are working hard for abundance, for prosperity, for joy, for happiness, and we wonder why is it not happening? But then we come to Ananda, we follow a spiritual path, and suddenly we start realizing that when we are here and when we are home, there's a slight change in our consciousness. And we start to prefer the vibration here. I hope so. We start to prefer the vibration here, and we just realize that maybe we can do something about the state of consciousness that we usually are in, and maybe we want to bring it a little higher. We may try our hardest, but unfortunately, a lot of times our habits, sanskars, our inclinations, they don't really allow us, to do this so easily. So, Yogananji said that saint is a sinner who never gave up. And Yukteswarji goes on to say, the past lives of all people are filled with many shames. But if you make the right spiritual effort, now everything will improve in the future. So their advice to us is not to hold on to our mistakes and the guilts and the past and everything. Rather, bring that out in the open. Offer it to the light of God. You say, don't worry about it. Forgive yourself, right? Take a vow not to repeat and then offer it to God. So in the Gita, Krishnji tells Arjun, constantly cling to me with your heart and mind, and you will always dwell with me. However, if you can't do that, then just give me your lower service. Just think of me and work for me. And if you fail even in that, then even bring me your failure. So in short, we need to offer everything to God, in God's light. The good, bad, successes, failures, everything to be purified in His light. There was an interesting event that happened in Yogananji's life. He met this person who I think wanted Kriya Yoga, but he was like, I smoke, I drink, and all of this, and that's not going to stop. So Yogananji says, okay, go ahead, do it, no problem, but just do your Kriya as well. So I think it is said that this man had a wine glass in his hand, in one hand, and Kriya Mala in the other hand, and he would do his Kriyas. But slowly what happened? That wine glass disappeared, but the Kriya stayed. Right? So as he communed with that higher consciousness, as he communed with God, these lower consciousness habits dropped away on their own. So whatever we do, whatever our mistakes, our habits, doesn't matter. We just offer everything. In fact, do it with God. That is the commune with God even as you do it. Don't worry about the failures and successes. And if we make the right spiritual effort now, everything will improve in the future. We feel, so much of worries and despair, darkness, all my bad karma from the past. But remember that we are children of God, right? We can do anything. We just need to put everything, we need to realize that we are not the doer and give it to God. Judas is the much maligned traitor who betrayed his own guru. Even he, Yogananji said, in his own lifetime, Yogananji's lifetime, he was liberated fully. He was an enlightened master. There's also this story of a very famous Tibetan yogi, Milarepa. You may have heard of him. So was he was a ordinary person at the start of his life, and he went through a lot of trauma and trials. When he was young, his father passed away, and his uncle, who looked after the property, would treat them very badly, and literally like servants around the house. And when Milarepa came of age, when he was to get his wealth back, because it was his father's wealth, uncle refused. In fact, he called all the villagers who were scared of him to bear testimony to the fact, witness to the fact that this is all my wealth. You have nothing to do with it. So Milarepa, his siblings, his mother were thrown out of the house. And by now it's been many years, and the mother is distraught and she is very angry, and how she's brought up her children only she knows. So she tells Milarepa, now you leave the house. And till you do something about this, till you take revenge from these people, do not show me your face again. So Milarepa, who's really young, he just goes, and black magicians used to be there at that time, and he learned all of black magic and everything. And he came back and he destroyed his entire family. 35 people in a house, he brought that house down. And then he brought, I think, storms and things into the village, so the people in the villages were destroyed. But suddenly, after doing all of this, one moment of that deep remorse came into him. What have I done? And that sent him off on a quest for a guru. And he finds a guru, and this guru, of course, knows everything about him. And he says, yeah, okay, I'll give you some teachings and everything, but first you build me a house for my son. And with stones and rocks, he says, you make this house and you carry them on yourself, on your back, no machines around, just pile these big boulders. His back got totally, torn with the rocks, and he anyway made that because he was so keen for the teachings. So he said, I will still do it. And what does the guru say? Oh, sorry, by mistake. I think you need to make the house a few feet away from here. So destroy that whole house. Do not use those stones. Bring new stones, make the house. And this kept on going on. And Milarepa was totally you can imagine his situation, plus his yearning for the teachings didn't happen. But finally, after a very, very long time, the teacher gave him a little bit of a teaching, sent him to meditate, and Milarepa returns a Buddha, an enlightened master, and one of the greatest yogis of Tibet. So, Guru's grace, but in one lifetime, such great sins were forgiven if we make the right spiritual effort now, isn't it? The grace of Guru and God is always available for us. In the Gita, Krishnji says that even if you take my name at the dying breath, right, you will still achieve liberation. But we have to have that complete 100% faith. Now, we have been following the teachings of these great gurus. So once we were all sitting around having a discussion with other Guru Bhais and Behens, and I was like, yeah, I know, but I'm having this bad relationship and it's not easy, I try to send them love, as Master said. I try to see God and Guru in them, but then they do something else and it becomes again very difficult, and they all started laughing. Yeah, it is little difficult to follow. So what happens now? Gurus have said that, in fact, Yogananji said that, look, God flows through, as Chika sang the song, what else is there within us but divine, right? So look on everyone as divine. But we don't want to, Because what if that divine in them comes back and smacks us back, takes advantage of us? We don't want to do that. Yogananji said, I can't have a bad relationship ever, because I would just go down on my knees and ask for forgiveness. But can we do that? Very difficult, because our ego gets hurt. And for me, it's always like, why am I the person who's doing it? Just because I'm on the spiritual path? Should I always take the high road? Should I always put down my ego? So, yeah, we have to understand. We have to have that 100% faith in the teachings to use them into in our daily lives. We can't stay at a point of just intellectual belief. Yeah, somewhere it will work, but maybe sometimes when, we are retired and we are in the caves, or we are, really following, and then nobody anywhere remains to have healthy relationships with, then we will go and practice these teachings. No, we have to have that 100% faith that if it has been said by our guru, then this is what we need to do, right? So there's this story, and I'll end with this. Swami Shankaracharya, Yogananji would tell this story. Swami Shankaracharya, we've all heard of, he was standing by the river, and his disciple was across the river. And he tells his disciple, come over. And the disciple just looks at his guru, and he just runs across the river. And the moment he puts a step into the river, a lotus leaf grows and supports his step. And as he keeps running across the river, many lotus leaves come out, sprout out, and he's able to cross the river. And from then on, he was called Lotus Steps or Padmapad. So what happened? The disciple did not know, really, he didn't see the power of his guru that he can make lotuses or lotus leaves grow, but he had experienced his teachings and his power in many different ways. So he just knew now that if I do this, I will be able to go across. Something will happen. So he had that complete faith. Similarly, as we keep trying and experimenting with these teachings slowly in our lives, then we will develop that 100% faith to follow them and never give up. Okay, thank you.
Swami Kriyananda said this was one of Yoganandaji's favorite quotes. And great masters and saints were all like us at some point, maybe many incarnations ago, but at some point they were like us, making mistakes, maybe facing some setbacks, or even at some point they might have been a murderer or a thief. And with this quote of a saint is a sinner who never gave up, that Yoganandaji is saying that no matter how many mistakes you make, if you get up and keep trying and say, I want God, then God will not let you down. And every time we get up, we'll gain strength to move forward. But, still, having said that, still, we are talking about many incarnations. And I was wondering about myself that, is it really possible to stay strong with willpower, with courage, over many incarnations? And, the thing is that this strength that we are talking about, this is not actually our strength. This is God's power. This is Guru's power. His unconditional love, his patience, his ever forgiving love and wisdom. That is what will keep us moving forward, incarnation after incarnation. As Vasudha quoted in the Gita, Krishna says, cling to me. And that he's saying, don't forget about me. Stay connected with me. Keep your awareness with me. whatever you do. Once someone asked Swami Kriyananda that, do we need a guru? Do I need a guru? And he said, you don't need a guru, but if you want God, then you do need a guru. Because he's the one who will take us to God. And God doesn't condemn us or judge us. He gives us freedom to make mistakes. And even when we are ready to give up on ourselves, He will not give up on us. Since Easter is approaching, I'll use one example from the Bible, which some of us discussed yesterday as we listened to Swami Kriyananda's music. It's about one of the disciples of Christ, Simon Peter, Saint Peter. As you might know, that when Jesus was arrested and taken to trial, Simon Peter followed him, and he was trying to understand what's going to happen. But he was also kind of hiding because he didn't want to get in trouble by being identified as one of the disciples. But sure enough, people recognized him and said, "Aren't you with Jesus? Aren't you his disciple?" And he said, "No, I don't know him." And he did that 3 times, as predicted by Jesus a few hours ago in that evening at the Last Supper. And the Bible says, and then the 3rd time, when Peter denied Jesus, at the 3rd time, the rooster crowed. That's what Jesus exactly predicted. And in the Bible it says, that moment, Jesus turned around, looked straight at Peter, and Peter ran outside and wept. Imagine, you denied your guru in front of him because of his own weakness and fear. He must have so devastated and felt terrible for himself. But, his guru, Jesus, didn't condemn him or judge him because of that mistake. Later, when Jesus was resurrected, he gave Peter a chance to redeem himself. He says to Peter, "Do you love me?" And Peter says, "Yes, I love you." "Do you love me?" "Yes, I love you." "Do you love me?" "Yes, I love you." 3 times, so that he can clear that mistake that he made. So Guru and God doesn't mind our mistakes or our failure. He's always on our side. And whenever we fall, He's ready to support us. And He loves us not in spite of our mistakes. He loves us just because we are children of God. But what about us? How much do we believe in ourselves? One time, a disciple of Paramhansa Yogananda said, "Master, my habit is very strong. I cannot get rid of this without your blessings." And Yoganandaji said, "My blessings are there. God's blessings are there. What is needed is your blessings." Another disciple also asked Yoganandaji that, what if I say I am free? I wouldn't be free, would I? And Yoganandaji's answer was, yes, you would be free if you said it in the consciousness of freedom. But you answered your question already. You said, I wouldn't be free. The trouble is the mind is already poisoned with that, the delusion that we are trying to get rid of. We have to believe in our highest reality, that is the presence of God within us. This body, this personality is not perfect, but we have to know that God has planted Himself, part of Himself, which is perfect, in us. Swami Kriyananda also said that true wisdom means one thing only: the perception of Brahma and oneness with Him. Recently, a line from Swami Kriyananda's, one of Swami Kriyananda's songs really touched my heart, or actually it shook my heart. So the line is, "The world's joy, O secretive one, replies to your sweetness in me." So he's calling God as a secretive one. And the world's joy replies to your sweetness in me. Okay? So it makes us realize the joy in life, or in this world, love, compassion, generosity, or divine friendship that we have experienced in this world comes to us not because of our personal achievement, but rather in response to love and sweetness that God has planted in us. The spiritual path is not about trying to acquire something from outside. It is about uncovering, revealing that which God has already planted in us. So, whenever we feel that, okay, spiritual path is so long, or, I made so many mistakes, or this is many challenges, we can also remember that there's joy, there's love, there's compassion, kindness in my life, in our life, and take it as a reason to believe that God is within us, God is with us, and take it a reason or take it as an assurance of God telling you that I'm here with you. And as long as you think of me, as long as you cling to me, I will take charge of your life. That's what He's saying to you. And this gives us courage and willpower to go forward until, not partly, but perfectly, until we can perfectly express that oneness with Him in our life. Swami Kriyananda said, the spiritual path is long, but at every step, it is extremely rewarding. Joy to you.